Black grills on a black car is just too boy racerish for me. Lot better like that, yes. Let's go to a garage where we can have a look at this car from the underneath. Pit Star in Ealing. So this is the car. The service book is missing and I am the 7th owner, but it's never been crashed, seems pretty straight, and a really good deal at the price.
Perfect.
It is a bit boy racerish for me, like I already explained, but hopefully it's not a lemon, because buying an old car like this, £6,675 from a used car dealer? No, from a private dealer who apparently might have tracked this, he's slammed it, it's got some aftermarket springs on it. We're going to have a look at everything. Claims the subframe's been welded and reinforced and there was no cracks to begin with, and all the strengthening welding plates have gone in. So this is something I really want to check, as well as get a overall look and see and feel of the under of the car and just see how it really looks down there. It doesn't have the most toys inside, it doesn't have the Harman Kardon, it doesn't have heated seats, it doesn't have the nav. These things is my face in the frame, dude. Okay. It doesn't have all these things and they can be worrisome for some. I'm not really worried about the features because in the future, hopefully, this is just going to be a track toy or a track car for the road. And this camera looks very low, babe. Why does it keep getting lower?
So this is it, the E46 M3 in carbon black. It is a build date of March 2004 with a UK registration prefix of 53. The ex-owner decided to put some yellow tints and some depot LED indicators. Don't mind the indicators, to be honest. Having a look around, we're going to take a tour of the whole car and the body. We've got the classic wheel arch rust, which is a bit of a symbolic thing with the E46 M3s at this age. The wheels, although not perfect, aren't curved as such, just have some lacquer nicks, but overall not too bad. Looking at the brake disc, there's definitely a pronounced lip and could do with a pad change, a disc change at the next pad interval. We'll probably go around with bigger brakes at that stage. Now the whole body of the car looks pretty straight, pretty clean, doesn't look like it's gone through too many layers of paint. The windows are tinted all throughout, although it's hard to tell from this type of lighting. Looking at the rear arches again, I do notice they have been rolled as is not a straight line lip there. Coming back to this angle, the rear wheels also in good nick, had to get some new tyres fitted recently. The rear tail lights are these OEM style but smoked versions, not too sure about those. The BMW badge could be replaced. The M3 badge looks faded. The boot lid has no noticeable damage. The rear bumper has quite a bit of lacquer and paint peel, but at this sort of age is to be expected. Now you can see here the overall body, the overall condition isn't bad. It is very, very straight. The tailpipe tips rather could do with the polish. This is some muck from the tyre shop because the tyres I got with this couldn't handle full load under traction. So just got some part wounds for now, but it will do. These are Continental Sport Contact 5P, so they're still high performance tyres with a bit of a rim guard. Now you can see that bottom wheel arch is a classic spot for E46s to gather rust, and I can quite happily conclude that there is no real rust on this car. Any little bits of rust that I've seen so far could probably be saved. Look at them arches though. I mean, they're already wide enough as it is, but having to roll them out just for this extra stance lowered look does look great, might not be the best if you've got a sensitive spine. Coming back to this side, now this wheel arch has a bit more noticeable rust damage. We can see the depot side repeaters there at the bottom, a black carbon type M3 grille. Not a fan, just like the front grille. We'll be finding a OEM chrome version at some point.
So we're going to raise the car up now, see what it looks like. There is a bit of slack on the diff bolt, which I'm hopefully going to tighten right now. And then we're going to turn it on, see if there's any leaks, anything obvious that I need to worry about, any major rust, and see if this project car was a good buy or a lemon.
At this point I forgot to show you the interior. It's basically black leathers, The standard electric memory seats, no HK, black all over. Somewhere on the driver's side bolster could possibly be saved, but the rest of the leather could really benefit from just some overall conditioning and really do well. Managed to recycle my old steering wheel, could do with a new gear knob, and I need to repair that rear view mirror, can get a aftermarket panel. Back to having a look under the car and all around the car. This is the offside front wheel, UK driver's side front wheel. Basically everything looks intact. The wishbones look like they have been changed at some stage. The tie rods don't look too rusty, tracking shouldn't be an issue. Looking at the underplates, you can see there's no noticeable damage to indicate this has been hitting the ground a lot. Little bit of residual oil that you get on the sump nut, which is pretty normal. Bit of plastic broken trim, not too shabby. The bottom arch liner is bonded there, looks a bit weird, not sure, we'll have to look into that. Probably cracked at some stage, who knows. The other side wishbone looks matching in like sort of dirtiness, so I guess they've been changed in pairs, as well as the tie rods. Now the front lower arch liner that goes from the top arch liner to the bottom is missing on the left side and broken on the right hand side. This is something that bothers me even though I can't see it, especially on the left side. It protects the air temperature sensor, and on the right side it protects the windscreen washer reservoir. So I will be replacing these. I already found a second-hand set for about £50. Now looking at the front plastic under tray, you can see it's got some different screws and bolts on it. Probably lost the washers on the other side. The gearbox tray looks all good, but there's a massive oil leak and residual oil all over this side. Obviously this is very categoric and characteristics of a rear main seal leak, which is basically the rear end of the crank where your main flywheel and clutch connects. But this car will need a flywheel and clutch at some point. The flywheel rattles somewhat when the clutch is not loaded, so not really an issue at this stage, but it will need one, and when that happens it will get a rear new seal. Coming to the rear of the car, we can see it has adjustable camber lower arms. It has the OEM SACHS, S-A-C-H-S, however you want to say it, shocks. The anti-roll bar is stock. Looking at the subframe, which is what I really wanted to see, there's black putty everywhere indicating it's had everything off and some sort of seal protection put on. And you can see right here an extra piece of metal which has been welded on. This is a good sign. This definitely means the reinforcement plates for the E46 M3s have been fitted, and if the rear side has, more than likely the front side has. So this is a very good peace of mind. For that alone, this car is worth its purchase, especially as it's all running and working. Looking at the trailing arm bushes, they look like they have been changed at some point. Not sure if they're poly or OEM. OEM's more than good enough, to be fair. Exhaust mounts are all good, although the rear joint is rusty as hell. Doesn't appear to be leaking right now, but may well do at some stage. Now driving the car, I could feel like some categoric knocking on and off load. So I've driven loads of different cars and I know by experience it felt like the diff was loose. And categorically on these, I have also come to know the front diff bolt can come loose if it's ever been taken off. Clearly at the time of this subframe work, this was taken off, put back on, maybe not torqued to spec because it needs 125 foot-pounds or lbs, I don't know. But that's something we're going to be fixing today. You can see all the exhaust joints at the front section of the car have been separated previously because there's a lot of putty, and I would suspect there may well be a leak if there's that much putty, because the OEM fitment doesn't have putty. It has this like mesh silver ones to the rear of section 1, and the front are cones basically. So sorry about that cough, but got to keep it in the flow. Coming back to the front of the car again, like these joints, like I said, it's missing those cone sort of compression joiners, fittings, whatever in between that goes. Basically it's a seal that stops the exhaust leaking once they're mated together. So overall, looking at the underside of the car, doesn't look too bad. We can see the lollipop bushes, the control arm bushes, whatever you call them, are Powerflex branded. So wouldn't have to be worried about them anytime soon because they have a lifetime guarantee. Other side can't really be seen, but there you go. This guy looks like he's done what he done in pets. Now the anti-roll bars are always a weak point on these cars because they give a lot of roll on these, but the TN lowering springs, which are some of the most aggressive lowering springs made to work with OEM shocks to give it a massive drop, and a lot of that body control has been recovered. The rear diff bolts are fine, but I've got to look at that front one, and yes, it was about 1 turn loose. But we'll get the car turned on at this stage and see what else we can discover.
Now we're going to turn it on, put it back up, make sure. Now with the car on, we're going to take another look underneath before we wrap this up. Overall, it doesn't look too bad, guys.
Oh, it is leaking air from here. I can feel it. This is not good. Moving around too much. Definite leak here. Oh, even on that side.
Right, so that about wraps it up. The diff bolt is tightened. If it comes loose again, I'm gonna have to take it out fully and give it some thread lock or some Loctite and see how that happens, or screw in a oversized bolt, go to a machine shop, try something different. So let's just hope that the diff bolt hole and thread isn't buggered. Other than that, what have I discovered? There's a weird oil leak, but it doesn't look like it's new, it looks a bit old, because it's very old and mucky, grimy kind of oil deposit. There is the 2 front mud flaps, 1 damaged, 1 missing, and there's an exhaust leak. So under the car, it all seems pretty good other than those things. Bit minor to sort out, not too bad. And you know what, as the car comes down on the ramp, that's about it. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Follow me, subscribe, give it a like so that you can keep up with this build. BBK is coming for the front soon as I fix out all these niggly bits. Interior's got to get done up, but this will be quite the project. And yeah, that's it. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Perfect.